How's that any different than Bitcoin? Except Bitcoin is tethered. It's called USDT, US dollar tether. It's tied to the have to know a lot to understand. Obviously, it's not understanding.
I'll do some back.
I do things while people are sleeping that they have no idea about. Always have. For combined heat power, not to look you and anybody else in the face. Act like I know what the hell I'm talking about. Not act, but actually, that's not easy to do. Have a board.
And I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna make that announcement in my that we will have a workshop. Just like you're coming to a workshop for budget, it's a workshop, how we go.
He knows when I say that,
And
it's something,
either do
something serious.
something like that. We could just say, let somebody else run this shit. It all depends on what we see.
You know that I
Thank you. What you got there?
Howard brought dates.
Well, that was nice. I got something for Howard too. I know, I'm watching.
Right now.
1 minute warning. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Xbox a little fast. It is a half a minute fast. And please. Would you like to do the invocation tonight, sir?
I think Benny.
I think Benny will do it. Benny, you do the invocation tonight.
He's got a book on. He loves.
Oh, man.
Why
you slamming that on me?
Away from it.
You ain't taking.
Oh.
I'd like to call to order the City of North Pole's regular meeting for May the 6th, 2024. And our City Hall chambers, the time now is 7 o'clock. And we're also coming to you via the wonderful world of YouTube. And if you'll remove your hats and please stand, the clerk will lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Councilman Benny Williams will take us into prayer. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please bow your heads, if you will.
Dear Father, as for the council meeting today, may our hearts be united in love and fellowship. Tear down every barrier that divides us and fill us with the spirit of unity and harmony. May our worship be reflection of our desires for a united and loving meeting. In your name, amen.
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 Thank you. Please be seated. Well, let's get into this. So we're going to go to an action item number 4, approval of the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor. May I do a quick roll call?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I wanted to get so far ahead of it. Please do the roll call. Yes.
Mr. Williams,
I'm here.
Mr. Jacobson,
Here.
Mr. Turch,
Here.
Mr. Skips,
Here.
Ms. Clack,
Yes.
Mr. Keller, and Mayor Welch.
Yes, thank you for keeping me on track there. Now the roll's called, everyone's present. Let's go to item 4, approval of the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion's been approved by Jacobson, seconded by Kellner, and would you please call the question?
Oh, was anybody wanting to amend the agenda?
Ask them to, yeah.
Move to amend the agenda under unfinished business 11A and ordinance 2024-04, an ordinance of the City of North Pole amending the 2024 budget to accept grant funds for both fire and utilities. And under new business items A, ordinance of the City of North Pole amending the 2024 budget to accept grant funds for police. Item B, request to council to pay for backup generator at Public Works from using the state Homeland Security grant funds that were awarded. And item C, request to council to use TBEC fire, to prepare the grant application for the fire station.
Second.
A motion to amend by Jacobson, seconded by Clack. Any discussion of those?
And on the motion,
Go ahead.
on the motion to amend, Mr. Church,
Yes.
Ms. Clack,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Keller, Mr. Jacobson, Mr. Skips, Mayor Welch.
Yes. Anyone wish?
The evening, Ms. Clack,
Yes.
Mr. Church,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobson, Mr. Skips, Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Keller, and Mayor Welch.
Yes. Does anyone wish to change their vote? I see no changes. Congratulations. We now have a motion. Then we go to item 5, approval of minutes that are from the April 15th, 2024.
I move that the minutes from April 25th,
15th.
April 15th, 2024 to be approved.
Second.
Motion by Clack to approve the minutes of April 15th, seconded by Kelly.
Okay, and Mr. Keller,
Yes.
Mr. Skips, Mr. Church,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobson, Ms. Clack,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Welch.
Yes. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Madam Clerk. The minutes are approved. Now we go to communications from the mayor, item 6. So I'll start out by saying that, as we mentioned, something I'll show you, and we'll pass it around if you would, is that the Italian Air Force came to City Hall last Monday to award me this book. And this is the 100th anniversary of the Italian Air Force. They'd like to thank me and the city, but not just me, but the city, for our hospitality. There were 400 people from the Italian detachment here for Red Flag 1. That's the largest contingent so far this year, and it may very well be the largest. So that book chronicles 100 years of Air Force history, and I was very happy to receive that. Then on the 1st of May, Danny and I went out to the Air Force Base at 12:15 to see the wing commander, Colonel Paul Townsend, to discuss him writing a letter of support on behalf of our fire department for the DSIP grant. And we talked about a few other things too, about housing and things of that nature, to try to keep up on track of where we're at, what we're doing, or not done. Very straightforward. We had a good meeting of the minds on that. I carried that forward when we went to the MilCiv meeting. That's the civilian military meeting, first Thursday at the Salcha downtown at the borough. So it's the first time I have been in that building since I departed on a medical sabbatical back in December. So that was very interesting to go there. Let me pass that book along. So the description in the front cover of the book there. So that was pretty much that. And there are many things that are going around that the Civ Mill, unlike the Tiger team, the Civ Mill is just those military and those civilian leaders up here. So pretty concrete. Well, the biggest thing, as you can imagine, they're talking about housing, but they're talking about quality of life for their families. So some of those ideas we actually brought to other committees here in the city. And then last Thursday, I was available, and I'm not going to take the thunder away from Mr. Jacobson. He'll do ongoing projects for what he discussed with the ongoing Economic Development Council with the city of North Pole. So I'm not going to go into that. Looking forward a little bit further into the future of this month, I will be going to the Governor's Sustainable Task Force. So I'll be leaving here to be in place Monday, May 20th. And I'm trying to see while I'm there, 3-star General of the United States Air Force Alaskan Air Command, 11th Air Force in NORAD. He wears 3 hats, so he gets 3 stars. That's General David Nahom, and his command chief, who's from here, by the way, will be there with us. And I'm trying to get 3 bears on board while I'm down that way, and latitude 63 finally. I'm going to say one thing now, and you ask me questions if you want to about it, but it seems there's a problem that we all have, and that's rumors and gossip. And I don't know where the newspaper gets their ideas from or anybody gets their ideas from. But let me say this, when we put in for a grant and the United States Senator gives us a grant, a direct grant that has a definitive purpose to it, you cannot sit there and start passing along. Not that we are doing it, but there are citizens. There are people who mean well, but they're doing us wrong by passing on that what we're trying to do is take the money and divert it to some other use. Congressional designated spending, CDS, is just exactly what it says it is. Do not think for one moment that we could take $2.5 million or $752,142, for that matter, $7.52. And it's congressional designated. We spend it on what we said we wanted for it. And that was what we put in for, to spend it in that Brookside Park, specifically for water and or sewer projects in Brookside Park, and not to go towards other parts of the city or parts that are failing. That's some other time and other place. But I just wanted to say that because it seems like every time I turn around, I'm dealing with somebody who's coming in here and they're going to stop building because they heard that they would have to pay for all of it and so on and so on. And that's not what we got that grant for. So with that, I'll close my communications from the mayor and go to item 7. If there are any council member questions of the mayor. Yes.
You said you were leaving on May 20th
Yeah.
and returning when?
I have to be down there May 20th. So
So you're leaving the 19th
19th,
possibly?
probably in the afternoon.
Okay, and
Depends on what
returning,
the weather's like.
and returning when?
Whatever that is coming up to Memorial Day. I'll be back before Memorial Day. Memorial Day is a holiday, but I'm not going to be on the road on Memorial Day. I don't have a good feeling about that. And I'm up to try to see with my clerk about me being able possibly to fly down there. Yeah, so I can spend less time, because I don't get any pleasure being on the road.
That's
So-
the 27th. So
So
you're,
28th is the holiday, isn't it?
27th looks like it's a holiday.
right.
Oh, the 27th. Yeah, well, I'll be back by then. I'll be back before then. You know, because I cannot imagine there's anything for me to do. The air base will probably take a 4-day holiday. I think what I'd like to be able to do is hit the base on the 20th in the morning time, which is why I'd go down Sunday night.
Okay.
So I could hit General Nahom and his command sergeant major down there, command chief, I should say. It's Air Force command chief. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Mayor, I would ask that you would consider, if you would consider moving the city council meeting of May 20th to May 13th.
I can do that only after I consult my calendar. And will the word come out from the clerk tomorrow? But it doesn't necessarily have to be on a Monday now. We'll have to see. If I want to give proper notice, maybe we'll do it next week. Does anybody have any heartburn if it's on a Tuesday?
14th?
I have a commitment.
You have what?
I have a meeting at 7 on Tuesday, the 14th.
Only other thing I can suggest then would be the 15th. I know I'm at Fast Policy Board, but that's at noon time. That's,
High school graduation.
yeah, I know, I'm getting all this stuff. It's right in the middle of all this. Thank you for letting me know. That's a good idea. I don't know if that's our exact day or not, though.
16th is ours.
Yeah, so the 15th is available. We may very well have friends, but we have a job here too, so. we'll
But
just-
Monday sounds best so far.
Again,
I said Monday sounds the
Yeah,
least conflicted
I
so
think I
far.
got something I have to do that data already in plans. Okay, but we'll take that under advisement. Any other questions for me? Seeing none. Citizens' comments or council members' questions of the mayor closed. And now, Madam Clerk, are there any citizens' comments?
I believe we have a few citizens in the audience. Mr. Rixey, were you gonna?
Hello, Howard.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. So, and you record my name and all that there, Emily? All right, I'm Howard Rixey, address 5631 Old Valdez Trail, Salt Shore, Alaska, and representing the chamber. How's that? I'm here just really to briefly mention the chamber's efforts as far as cleanup goes. This weekend is highway cleanup. And we kind of collectively decided that we could do more than just clean up the highway and what have you. So what we've done is create what we're calling is Make a Shine campaign. And it really is three-legged, if you would. One, obviously, is the traditional highway cleanup, and we have partnered with Golden Heart Waste Management, who is partnering with the fire department. So the fire department's going to be able to give out free hot dogs that day while they hand out garbage bags and stuff for highway cleanup. The other is we've partnered with a number of entities where we're going to have a one-stop shop for dropping off, I'll call them recyclables collectively over at the North Pole Mall, actually right adjacent to where the Welcome Center is going to be. So they'll be collecting eyeglasses, hats, coats and gloves for the clothes closets there. K&K is going to be over there with metals. The Fairbanks North Star Bureau is going to be for hazard waste and whatnot. So it'll be from 10 to 4 that day. People will just be able to drive up, drop stuff off there. And then at the end of the day, all those entities will disperse with the appropriate materials that they collect there. So, and then the other one we're really excited about is junk cars. So I think it's obvious as we drive through some of our neighborhoods there are junk cars out there, and the residents may or may not think that it's maybe cost prohibitive to tow them away, or maybe they just appreciate the yard art. I don't know. However, we're going to give an incentive to move them. So we're partnering with K&K Recycling, and we've partnered with 2 tow companies where they've agreed to a flat rate for towing within the North Pole community. So not just North Pole proper, but what we define as the greater North Pole area there, where a resident can call up one of those tow companies there. They come up and hook up on the car. They fill out what we call a tow slip. They'll pay the first $100. The tow company will have 2 options. They may look at the vehicle and say, hey, there's salvage value here, and we're going to just take it to our salvage yard. Or if that's not the case there, then they'll tow it to K&K for recycling to be crushed and whatnot there. So, and then the remaining part of that flat rate tow fee, the chamber is going to pay. So, and we're going to be able to do that with, we received a little bit of funding from the Fairbanks North Shore Borough in that regard there to help us on that regard there. So we're excited about that. And our hope, if we can get 25 to 35 cars towed out of our community there, that's going to go a long way. One, it avoids them going in the landfill eventually, or it avoids them rotting in someone's yard and impacting the environment. So we're really excited about that. So that's the main reason why I'm here. So if you guys got questions about all the activities we have there, I gave you a little flyer there, and I'll be glad to speak to those if you want.
Any questions for Mr. Howard Rixey? Mr. Jacobson?
Thank you, Mr. Rixey. At our Thursday Economic Development Commission meeting, I asked if you would have a flyer for us here at City Council so we could pass on the details of this program, especially the names and phone numbers for the tow companies.
Great question there. So I do have flyers out in my truck. I will go out and get those and bring those back. There also are ads on our the chamber's North Pole Chamber Facebook site there. So we're pushing it out there. We're also going to be reaching out to radio and TV to advertise it. And I know the 2 tow truck companies have already posted some things on Facebook, and they're already getting a great response there. So I'm excited about that part of it there. So great question there. Other questions?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Question
through the
would be,
chair.
is it 8 tow trucks companies that you have?
It's 2.
It's just the
So
2.
yeah, we solicited to all of the tow truck companies that were in the North Pole community and tried to get a flat rate
Right.
that was agreeable by them, and 2 of them did sign up to the flat rate. So
So if I'm
Name-
correct,
names
that
are?
would be S&S Towing Recovery?
it's Axle Towing Company and Tug and Grin.
Okay.
Those,
Oh,
yeah, and they're on our Facebook sites. There's their contact information and whatnot there. So
So what's the name of those?
Axle Towing Company,
ASCO?
axle, like a car axle,
Oh,
Yeah.
Axle.
and
may
then
I-
Tug and Grin.
may I add to that? Because I happen to have part of your document.
Yeah.
So Axel's telephone number is 907-651-8691. And then you said Tug and
Grin.
Towing is 907-385-7900.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
for that.
you're so very welcome.
Yeah. No, we're really excited about this and hopefully I'd really like to be able to go to the Borough Assembly meeting there and report how good it was and let's do it again next year kind of deal there. So,
So now you
That'd
know,
be
I'm going to
sweet.
ask you some questions.
all right, great,
I'm going to go to the firecracker run on the 29th of June.
great.
Is it going to start here in City Hall in the parking lot like in the years past?
Yes.
At what
So the 29th of June is our firecracker run. We didn't want it to conflict with the actual 4th of July weekend. It's a little bit weird and what have you. So yeah, the 29th of June will be the firecracker run. People are actually able to go out to our website and register for that right now. I forget the times. I want to say,
10 o'clock.
yeah,
What
10
like
o'clock
to-
start time and you're done by noon, whatever. We'll have t-shirts, medals and all of that kind of stuff there for the participants there. So,
So I got something for you to give away.
okay.
I already got them. For the top male.
Ice cream?
Well, no, no, I didn't get ice cream because it'll melt, especially if you wait for me to finish
Yes.
5K that day.
Yeah.
You're going to measure the 5K.
Yeah, actually, we went out and remapped it
Yeah.
there. So last year we were about 2/10. And so where we've extended it is going down the Grange Road to where, right before you make the left into their driveway, and that'll be the turnaround.
Well, I thought, man, I'm sure I'm going fast this year. And then I
Yeah.
realized I didn't have a full 5K,
Yeah.
but what I have.
Yeah,
for
it's
you-
3.06 miles is what we got. So,
So I've got for you, for the top male, and top female, winner, $50 gift certificate to Pagoda
oh, cool.
to give you.
Might inspire me to
From the-
walk.
huh? From the city. So if they
Cool.
come in first, they get that.
Yep. All right, cool.
That's a nice thing.
Greatly appreciated.
Mhm.
Thanks, Benny.
Did that last year too. And I'll probably have, if you want, the lanyards. I still have North Pole lanyards
Okay.
that they
Yeah.
can wear and have their bib number, whatever you want them to
Yeah.
wear on, whatever way. I'll get with you on that.
Okay. Yeah.
'Cause we
We'll
got a while
we'll
yet.
gladly take all your free stuff,
I
sir.
know you will. And what's the barbecue challenge going to be about?
So last year we tried to do a KCBS barbecue and we didn't, we had about a half dozen that registered for it. And it was pretty pricey as far as the registration fees and everything else. So we got great feedback and interest about it, but they weren't willing to go that way. So we're avoiding the KCBS sanction kind of thing and doing a little bit more mom and pops kind of thing. So we're throwing down a challenge here. It's going to be it's kids and then two, it's adults. So, but either way, it's going to be best barbecuer for Army, Air Force, and a homegrown Alaskan. So a three-way competition basically as to who's the best barbecuer in the area. So the kids will be able, two age groups for the kids. One's just a regular hamburger and one's going to be a monster burger. And then for the adults, it's pork ribs and wings, two different categories there.
Who your
So
judge is going to be on the wing
we,
side?
we haven't got all the judges there, but I have a few in mind there. So, but anyways, and again, that's the registration is out on our webpage for that one.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around that because, we did pretty big on that. That's going to be on a Saturday, the 15th of June.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would definitely remind the council and the city as a whole. So Cruising with Santa is the 18th, and that's a big event for the entire city. I mean, that's 4,000 to 5,000 people here within a 5-hour period. So the Spring Bazaar, the Chambers has the bazaar going on inside the mall, and then typically we have 100 show cars out there, along with I think right now we have 44 vendors outside, whatever. And then you add that 4,000 or 5,000 people. Obviously, they're not just City of North Pole folks. They're the greater North Pole area and probably Fairbanks as well as the base. So that's a big draw for us here. The fire department is going to be on site this year just because.
Just because.
Yeah, it's a lot of people in a small area.
Firecracker is going to be the same day as the open house for the fire department.
Yeah, we've tried to work. We
good.
try to partner with folks there.
Yeah, that'll work.
Our whole thing is to give people a reason to visit, live and thrive in North Pole.
Sure.
So, and these are all elements to that there. So,
That's
so
why I
excited.
got that's why I got a little
Yeah.
balance for the two
Yeah.
competitors.
and if I may, the two luncheons so the June luncheon is going to be Three Bears. So we've asked them to come in and give us an update on the store and the construction. Obviously, we can see that they are actively constructing right now. So that is the June one. The May one is the VFW and American Legion because they're selling the poppy flowers this month here. And July is going to be Kate's Place. If y'all don't know, Kate's Place is where the old Pizza Hut is, and that's for veterans mental health services, whatever. So they already have one office one office in Fairbanks, and then they opened this one. The one in Fairbanks is relocating, and so in July, we're going to obviously spotlight them at luncheon, but they're also going to do a ribbon cutting for that particular facility. So we're excited about that.
So Howard, let me say this, if no one else will, you do the city proud. And I really do appreciate your efforts trying to make the North Pole Community Chamber of Commerce a going thing.
I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Hopefully we can get that signature project, the Welcome Center built.
Yep.
So
And I have you out there on,
Yeah.
every time I go to KJMP, you're on there whether you know it or not, because I'm speaking for you.
I know
Okay.
people talk bad about me, so it must be you. So no.
Must be me. Any questions or any concerns or any kudos to Mr. Howard Rixey?
Thank you, Howard, for everything you do.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go get those flyers.
Thank you.
Who else is here, Madam Clerk?
Is there anybody else that would like to publicly testify this evening?
Buttons, you're going to testify? No.
Yep.
Mrs. Welch?
And I have nobody hanging on the line.
No one hanging on the line. Okay. So with that done, citizens' comments, I call it closed. Let's go to communications from department heads. I'll let Tricia go first today. She's over there smiling.
Well, this week or last week rather, we had quite a few meetings with the new auditors. The audit is in swing hot and heavy. They had a lot of questions to Danny about Moose Creek. It's understandable because they really don't know our history or what's happened. So they have a lot of questions about a lot of things. And it's probably just the first year, and then next year will be a lot more smoother. It looks like there's no reason why we can't deliver on time at this point, and something comes up that's unforeseeable. But so far it sounds like it's going fairly well. I was involved with the healthcare options along with Emily and Maggie, and when they talk, and I'll clarify this with them, when they talk about these options, it doesn't mean you have to go all the way with one or two. It's our healthcare. We can pick and choose what we want. And I'll get a hold of Diana tomorrow and clarify that with them. And then I'll send an email through Emily and she can email you guys so you understand. And there's a little bit of history about the healthcare fund that Bryce put together. So all the healthcare is run through this fund. All the money that's taken out that the city puts away for each employee to have healthcare, and people that, their premiums that they pay go into this fund, and all the claims come out of that fund. And so the theory behind the fund, Bryce's theory, was that some years we have good years and some years we have bad years. And so hopefully the good outweighs the bad. And right now we're sitting pretty good with about $400,000 in the fund. But, one cancer situation could wipe that out. But anyway, that's a little history behind what's going on.
Thank you. Ms. Fogarty, questions for Tricia, please? Thank you for your,
Welcome.
Chief Dutra, why don't you go next?
So I give you guys a copy of my notes, but basically the Motorola body cameras, servers, car cameras have been ordered and due to arrive at the end of May, which is exciting. This is this project's been in the works for a long time. Council authorized us to accept those funds a while back. So we've just now got that all wrapped up and got all that stuff ordered. And I was actually surprised to see once we placed the order that everything was going to be here fairly rapidly, considering all the delays and everything else that we see. So that's pretty cool. We're going to get 2 of those brand new systems down into the new cars that are going to be shipped down to California shortly. So there'll be a lot of back end work on that. Jed, Lieutenant's working on that. He's heading up that project. I got him the money. He's taking care of the project. So that's a fair trade. But that's a lot of server work, a lot of IT work, a lot of coordinating and training and getting everybody up to speed with how to use things. So it'll take a little bit, but hopefully we'll get that project done. So excited about that. We had 5 of us that attended the APOA crime conference. So just so if you're not familiar with what that is, it's the Alaska Police Officers Association. I finally got myself a vest. I am on the board for that, the APOA, and every 2 years they host a crime conference either in Juneau, Anchorage, or Fairbanks. And this year was our year to host it, and we hosted it. We had a great company come up here, John Bostain from Command Presence. He taught the course on leadership, and again, I always learned great things from him. I've attended his class 3 times. And I always learn something new, and it was great to see some of the younger folks in the department attending his leadership course and learning some of those ideals and the ideology about leadership, and he believes in a lot of the things that I believe, and I like his training. So good stuff. And it was, I think, from the feedback I received from our folks was that most of what he was talking about, we actually implement. We don't. A lot of the pitfalls you see a lot of departments running into, we don't seem to have those problems. And I'm very proud of everybody that works for us, and I'm glad we have a good crew of folks because we don't have a lot of those problems. So anyway, good stuff. It's great stuff I can share with anybody if they're interested in hearing about some of those ideals. But Public Safety Assistant Illingsworth won Support Person of the Year for APOA at the conference. That was pretty awesome. I was humbled and honored to receive Farthest North Member of the Year award. I was pretty cool. Don't think I deserve it, but I'm thankful and humble. And TSA Illingsworth, he has worked so hard. I can't tell the council how invaluable he is to the department at this point. I don't even know how we got along without him. He does everything and anything and then some. And he's out there teaching Alice. He's out there, working with kids and his dog. He's got any event we need him to go to. He's there. He attended the Native Federation event we had in town last week because none of us could go. He went on our behalf. And everybody was just stoked to see him because he was the only law enforcement representative there. So even though he's not a police officer, he was there representing our department and our city. It's really good for us to have that outreach. He came back, and gave me all the feedback about what was said and how much people appreciated him being there. Just a great conduit for the schools. He was in the school almost all day today. We had a request from one citizen about some traffic issues, and he was out there sitting on, the patrol sat out there and was do cart counting, but he actually sat out there for even a longer period of time. Went back, gave me a full report on number of cars, how many kids, time of day. It was just amazing. So he's just going above and beyond what we ever expected him to do. So I thank the council for for supporting me on that project. It's just been amazing. So well-deserved award, I can tell you that. Best support person I could possibly ask for. So good there. Plans are being finalized for the police memorial ceremony on the 17th at 11 o'clock. I would encourage you to come. I know it is a Friday, but it is not actual police memorial day. So everybody's clear. The 15th is the actual day, but we do celebrate on that Friday of Police Week. So that's why it's on the Friday. We are doing cleanup on this Saturday at 11 to 2 at the park. We'll be doing sunflowers, and we'll be doing cleaning out the park just to make sure it's ready for the ceremony the following week. So if you have time and you want to come out, hang out, have some pizza, and help us clean up, sweep, and do things like that, you're more than welcome. Don't forget the torch runs on the 18th at Chena Lakes at 10. I will be running. I will probably still be running at 10 p.m. It's a 5K, so hopefully I get it done in fairly short order. But come support Special Olympics, cheer on North Pole, Team North Pole. I think there'll be a bunch of us running, so that's pretty cool. I know the mayor is going to be there, so I encourage everybody to come. Reminder: the 27th of July is the Fallen Heroes ceremony. Wasn't a great turnout last year, so let's hope this year we get more folks coming to turn out. And we have been working hard to get the speed signs that we've ordered. We got 5 of them, right? We got 4 stationary and 1 mobile speed limit signs. We're working really hard to get those up before Memorial Day. I don't know if we will, but we did get the portable one out there. We got it up on Old Ridge for a while. And we got a complaint about it flashing the school bus drivers, and they didn't like it, so we pulled it down. But it pulled some good data for us. We had it out there for a week. The data that we pulled from that road was not anything outside the ordinary. And what I mean by that is when we do those data counts, I generally see a 10% of the cars over the speed limit, and the majority of those are not really egregious speeders. So needless to say, it's not a real problem area like we expected it to be, which is good, right? I mean, it's a good thing. Doesn't mean farther down the Old Rich, it's not, or further up the Old Rich, it's not. Just that particular location was not a real bad speeding area. So we're going to move that one around the city as much as we can and get it up where we can. Complaints or not, but we'll put it up. It is supposed to be portable, but it is super heavy and hard to move around, but it's kind of nice, except for the school bus drivers. They don't like it. Anyway, I work on some permitting issues for the poles one on Santa Claus and St. Nick because they're DOT roads, not, so we're having problems there. I did want to put a shout out to I was assigned a project on the APOA board. It was a project that's been lingering for a long time. It's the Sergeant Brandt Memorial Fund for the scholarships for UAF. And it kind of been languishing for a while and hadn't been completed. So they asked if someone would take it up. So I took on the project. I completed the project. Now it is now going to be an official fund that people could donate to. So if you're interested and you have no people who want to donate some funds to something, it is a scholarship they're going to be starting to award the next semester, $1,000 per student interested in criminal justice. It's just a good thing, in memory of Sergeant Brandt and his sacrifice. So I was pretty glad. I was pretty glad to be part of that project and get it complete and get it across the finish line. I did attend the APSC, the Alaska Police Standards Council meeting on Tuesday of last week. Nice to say there wasn't a lot of cases, but it certainly is. It's an all-day affair, so it's quite good to be part of that. And I appreciate the mayor letting me sit on that board. So that's all I have.
Chief, do you think there's any other department in the state that's as well staffed and is running as a good engine as we are on all 8 cylinders?
I don't know.
Jaguar 12 cylinders for that matter.
There's quite a few good departments in this
Yes,
state.
there are.
And, that brings me to the next thing too, Mayor, thanks for reminding me, is accreditation. We've entered into the next phase of accreditation, which is an intense policy writing process. So we're going to start hitting that hard. But, this is a lengthy process. So I just wanted to give you a heads up.
So if the person wants to participate in a torch run, how do they best sign up for it? Do they come to the station or they just come out to Chena Lakes Resort that morning?
Go online and just punch in, just torch run North Pole, and you'll get in there and you can donate to any one of the teams, hopefully to North Pole Police Department. But
Hope so.
yeah, we're trying to reach our goal for the Tanana Valley. So it's a Tanana Valley Special Olympics.
What's your goal this year, sir?
I think our goal was 500.
Oh.
So yeah, I haven't looked at it recently. So
Any questions for Chief Dutra? So I noticed the one stop or the flashing light sign on St. Nicholas as you pass Barbara Lee. That's a 40-mile-an-hour zone. I will be talking with Joe Kemp at my next policy board meeting about getting the whole road there homogenized to 30 miles per hour from one end to the other, from Busby all the way up to the traffic circle up here. We'll see what comes of that. They may have some reason they can't. I don't know what it would be, but we'll see. I don't know. Does anybody else have anything for Chief Dutra? So you gonna help me along the way this year? I don't want to fall down.
you might help me.
You think? I don't know. We'll make it. We could both do 5K stand on our head, can't we? Even if I fall on my head again, right? So that's
No falling allowed, Mayor.
no falling allowed. I don't want to. I darn sure never did it on purpose. I can tell you that. So that takes care of that. So,
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Mr. Danny Wallace, what you got for us there from the world of utilities and public works?
Just to continue on the chief's description of PSA Illingsworth, he also has helped out city services a ton, either when we have questions or with the vehicle or some of the other things. So he has definitely been someone who we can count on for help. I'll talk about special topics and then the 3 departments. Previously, in the last couple of weeks, I did notify the council that we did receive another grant. Actually, we got a Water Smart Planning and Design Project grant from the U.S. Department of the Interior. This grant provides $164,000 for planning and design work to support our water main design effort. And we anticipate funding being awarded no later than September 2024. We're still working on how this will fit into other funding that we have, because we do have an SRF loan for that effort for $650,000. But there may be a way, and we'll present it to the council before we do anything, to leverage both of those to make sure that we do have a good effort for our water main design. I actually have a webinar tomorrow on May 7th, which should clarify some of the requirements, but we're finding that the grant process is slow. Initially, when you get designated for a grant, there's a significant amount of administrative requirements that go on between the time you get awarded the grant to actually seeing the money. This grant is also one that Two Bears Consulting wrote for the city. And this is the second grant award we've received in as many months. As you recall, the city was designated a pre-awardee for the $752,000 grant from DOT to address chronic flooding and drainage issues in the city. For Public Works, we've begun onboarding our summer hires, and it looks like we'll have an excellent crew this year to get after a significant amount of summer projects. These include the standard summer tasks of planting and upkeeping the flowers throughout the city, trash removal, beautification, road, sidewalk, and trails maintenance, and many, many others. And at a future meeting, I'll present all our list of projects for the summer for the council, and I'll give you an idea of what the plan is. We've also sent 2 individuals from Public Works and 1 individual from Utilities to CDL Class A training. This began last weekend, and the training is both during the week and on the weekends. And aside from providing driver safety training, these CDL training will allow our individuals to safely and legally haul generators and drive our dumpster/sand truck. We'll have 2 full-time Public Works folks along with our summer hires to cover down on Public Works. But again, we've got about half of our full-time Public Works crew going through that training. But the fact that we do have some summer hire help, I think it'll be fine as far as covering down on tasks. The training lasts through the end of May. For the building department, we've seen quite a few housing permit submissions over the last couple of weeks along Psalms Boulevard, Stryker Luke, and others. Additionally, Three Bears is moving forward, and they're working with the city for inspections and other requirements. Three Bears is the biggest project we've seen in quite a few years. It's $20 million in total estimated value, and that includes the main store, the Ace Hardware, the fuel depot, and cold storage. So there is a significant amount of effort that has to go on to both the permitting and certainly on Three Bears' behalf. But we've got a significant amount of permitting work that has to go on with that. But I think everything's going to stay on track. For utilities, we don't have any significant issues for this meeting, but we did have, I'm sorry, back to Public Works. I wrote my notes down here. Back to Public Works, we did have 2 Public Works replacements that came on board over the past month, and we did have 1 person that departed. Tom Blair retired as of May 1st. But we still have a full Public Works crew, which is good. And again, that having that full crew has allowed us to have coverage. Back on utilities, I really don't have any significant issues for this meeting. Things have been fairly quiet in that end. But there are 2 other significant events that are worth mentioning. The first is Miss Melanie Swanson, our Utilities Account Specialist, completed the requirements for promotion to Utilities Accounts Specialist 2. She did this by completing the Not-for-Profit Certificate 1 course from the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. This included accounting and financial reporting, best practices in governance and assurance, and a variety of other courses in this 24-module program. Ms. Swanson continues to be our most versatile worker in city services and also fills roles as the building department clerk and support to the front desk customer service operations. And finally, many of you may have seen the mural work at the old water treatment plant across from Santa Senior Center. This current effort remains a work in progress, and it should be finished in the next couple of weeks prior to the end of school. The North Pole Middle School Art Club and their advisor, Ms. Velez, and Principal Harrelson have been directly involved in the process. I'm confident that this will end well and will be something that the school and the city will be proud of. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Yes, Danny, when, with this weather being what it is, when do you anticipate the murals will be totally finished? And are you going to have something to kind of like announce it to the public?
We hadn't planned any ceremony, any large ceremony there have, but we've got lots of pictures, so we certainly are going to ensure that the pictures are available. Again, it's going to be weather dependent. This week may not be a good week for it, but hopefully next week we'll get after it. And we've had assurances from the art teacher that if for some reason, some additional work needs to be done on it, that'll occur. We're also going to spray a sealant on there. So if anyone chooses to add to the mural, that we can deal with that. But also to ensure that the paint doesn't get ruined by the weather. So
May I recommend you go through your PIO to get the newspaper and whoever the media outlets are to be aware of it. Shoot some film of it. Let Emily help you with that, please.
and we have been taking pictures the whole time. So
Any questions for Mr. Danny Wallace here? Yes.
So just confirm the CDL training that they are undergoing is for Class A, is that correct?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And then the second one with Melanie Swanson with that training, is that for promotion or is that for her current status right now?
No, that was that was for promotion. Yeah. No,
So-
I'm sorry that, and I was incorrect in there.
So
That
the
qualifies
certification-
that qualifies her for the first step. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep. That I misspoke there. That was the first step.
There were 24 tests involved in that. Was that correct?
Correct,
Or
yeah.
24 segments of testing. It's quite a bit. 24 modules. Yeah.
I thought she was already promoted to that level and she had to finish this course in order to stay at that level.
No, this was the to be promoted to the first level.
She was already promoted last year. That's what the letter of award for her to be in that first step said. She doesn't get another step for completing this course. It was a requirement for the promotion she got a year ago.
Well, like I said, I'll send you the documentation on that.
I have copies of it too.
Okay.
That's what I have an HR for. Madam Maggie, if you'll research that, so we'll be on task. On point. Yes, Mr. Church.
Can I ask about the CDL training? Don't mean to beat a dead horse.
Sure. Go ahead.
We had 4 assigned slots. Did we prepay for those classes and we just missed out on $5,000 of the training? Because we didn't fill that 4th spot?
No, we did not. We haven't paid for it yet. We talked to them. I told them that we had only 3 individuals available. They didn't have any problem. They were able to fill that extra slot. We haven't been billed for the training yet.
More questions?
That's a lot of money.
And Danny, I might call you back up about combined heat and power when I get to ongoing projects. Thank you, Danny. I'm going to do Chief Heineken's report. He asked to be out for an undisclosed reason at 10:27 this morning. So I said, I'll present your work for you. So what he's basically told us is already in a letter. The apprentice hiring, that portion has concluded. So they made 3 paid offers and 3 voluntary apprenticeships. So the 6 are scheduled to depart July 1st. And those will be done the first 8 to 9 weeks will be Monday through Friday from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. And that'll be firefighter 1 academy training. They did the testing process for a full-time firefighter position, all 7 candidates that participated in the written test and oral interviews. The scores and resume evaluations were compiled to create a hiring list. They'll make an offer to the top candidate later this week. I'd like to remind everyone, the chief would, that May 11th, as you heard, is cleanup day. North Pole Fire Department will have the cleanup day yellow bags provided for pickup. You go to the fire station on 110 Lewis Street to get your yellow pickup bag. They're going to partner, as Howard told you, with the Chamber of Commerce and the Golden Heart Waste Management Company. So throughout the entire day, you have hot dogs and other things to eat for the cleanup day participants. They'll serve those hot dogs from 11 a.m. until they run out in the early afternoon. I think they'll run out before the early afternoon, really. They want us to make the community look better, clean up the whole winter mess. The open house is not in May this year. Everybody always remembered it was in May, like with Cruising with Santa, but it's not this year. They've specifically moved it to another date, which is June 29th. And if anyone was listening to Howard Rixey, that's the firecracker run day too. So we got 2 things on that day. If you run fast enough, you won't get hit with the firecrackers, but if you run towards the fire station, you'll be saved. Their administrative assistant is Tammy Shirelli. She's worked to make sure the partnering agencies make the open house a really great event again this year. It always has been. And please keep in mind during this time of year, the green brush. what we call the duff of the floor of the forest. You know, they could spark up. Just because you got a little snow now, a little precip now, it won't be that way. Because what I like to always say in Danish, but I'll just say it in English, the relative humidities are getting lower and lower. Those things can just be a brush fire waiting to happen. So be on the reminder that if you are going to do a burn, you have to have a burn permit. That went into effect April 1st. And it goes all the way through September 30th. So make sure you have and follow all the instructions on your burn permit. And you can get that at dnr.alaska.gov/burn. So I'll say it again, dnr.alaska.gov/burn. So that's the chief's fire department. And now we go to Madam Clerk.
Thank you. And since Chief Heineken's not here, I'm just going to go ahead and brag. He has a very nice article in the News Miner. It came out right after our last council meeting. And I just thought if we need good news in the paper, I'll leave this here for anybody to take a peek at. Otherwise, Maggie and I have been very busy. We did the early voting for the Fairbanks North Star Borough special election. We saw record voters turnout. If you haven't voted, vote tomorrow. Polls close at 8 p.m. This is a polling location, so the city hall for polling will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow.
Madam Clerk, you need any help with the voting booths or anything tonight?
No, the poll workers will be in tomorrow to take care of, Maggie and I did all the early voting. We kind of have to be hands off on poll day.
Okay. Any questions for the clerk? Okay, and we go now. Who was the borough representative at the last meeting?
We did not have a borough representative at the last meeting.
Because they were doing finance or what?
We just did there's a lot of people that have signed up and a lot of people that are doing a lot of meetings, but I didn't have anybody at the last meeting.
Okay, I think they were doing finance committee, I think. I'm not sure, May 2nd, but I might be wrong, but usually May is when they do their budgets. So,
I can tell you who's next if you.
yeah, please do. Tell us who's next.
Representative, let's see, for the 5/16 meeting will be Benny Williams at the next meeting.
Benny, congratulations. Benny Williams. Do we have a backup in case something happens? That's something that happened earlier this year. No, I'm speaking positive that we have to make sure that we're represented now that they're giving us a foot back in the door. I'll let you work that out, Madam Clerk, instead of us taking time. So,
I'll make it. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
I will make it. There you go. I will.
Item 10, ongoing projects report. I think I'm going to start out with Mr. Jacobson. Jeff, if you tell us about the Economic Development Committee that met last week.
Thank you. I passed out to council members and department heads the list of ideas that we've been brainstorming on the Economic Development Committee for the city. Clint Summers is a citizen that has been joining us in the last two meetings, sharing in the ideas. And so what I asked the committee to do was to think of something that we could do this year to enhance economic development in our city. That's what you see, aspirations for 2024. And then longer term goals or things that we could work on is the next section. And then you'll see long range visions and then dream projects. And so the goal is to eventually develop and pursue a theme city for theme city development and look for the city. But that's a multi-year project that's going to take a lot of planning and meetings and input from residents. And so we'll be working on that concurrently as we are choosing to do smaller projects that can be accomplished this year and in the near future so that there's momentum building with actually things happening to increase our economic development in our community. So we are going to be, the committee is going to be ranking these as far as their first top 10, I think, in each category. And then at our next meeting, we will be discussing our rankings of those projects.
Any questions for this worthy committee from Mr. Jacobson? He's done a good job keeping us on track. Thank you, Jeff.
Sure.
I'm going to take us to somewhere under ongoing projects as well. And I'll ask Mr. Danny Walsh to come if he needs to support me. I'll ask him to support me. On June the 6th, call that D-Day. That's a Thursday, June the 6th at 6 o'clock. We're going to have a workshop at 6.
Is it not 5?
No, it's not 5,
Okay.
it's 6 now. We're going to have a workshop at 6. And unless we find out otherwise, I think it's still at 6 o'clock. And what it's going to be about is everybody's wanting to know what we're going to do about combined heat and power. This could be your opportunity to learn about it, to ask questions, and to find out the stakeholders such as Golden Valley Electric, Interior Gas Utility, the City of North Pole, Three Bears, Latitude 63, anybody who's building in Brookside Park that wants to tap in to the hot water. We may even have people from the legislature there. I would hope they'd finally come to it. Someone from the Air Force, someone from the Army, whoever has got a stake in it. Who else has a stake in it? When I say the City of North Pole, Chief Dutra, do you pay a lot of money to heat your building over there? Does your department? Okay. The number one user, Danny, is your water department. Number 2 is your wastewater treatment department. We could save a lot of money if we can go to combined heat and power. But to save a lot of money, we may have to spend some money, but we need to put it before ourselves so we could take a hard look. It was never envisioned that the city in itself, we were just to have been a limited liability partner. And that may be all we are when this is over with, but to have a workshop, and it's a paid workshop. So let us make sure that we're here on time. And Madam Clerk will do us a favor, make sure we have something to eat so you won't have to do it that night. And we have a lot of players at stake. I have to bring someone up from Palmer. He may be as far away as Colorado, I don't know, but he's going to get here one way or the other. And that is Robbie's going to come up. Who else? Brent Sheets, myself. You know, so we may have people from Marathon. Marathon's granted us 25 acres over there. That's a nice gesture on their part. We don't know who will be there from the governor's office because I'll be contacting people at the governor's sustainability conference and probably get one person, may get somebody from Ada there. Don't know, because Ada's under new leadership now. So there's a lot of questions, but that's the best way I know to tackle it is to have a workshop. So we'll try to get papers in your hand so that you'll know and be informed and you can ask the right kind of questions when we have it.
What time is this?
6 o'clock on the 6th. 6, the mark of the devil.
6 p.m.
Will not be here?
Not if you're saying the 6th mark of the devil. No.
No, I just mean,
Well, that's a serious statement. So no.
well, don't be here then, you know? You were here for the,
I was here when the gentleman first made his appearance. And if I recall, you stated I was the only one here.
no,
If,
Mr. Jacobson was here.
well, okay. And with that, you also said that we were going to talk about that a little further because when you and I last spoke, you said that things weren't going to move forward.
We weren't moving forward because we couldn't get a thing. You got to understand, I don't tell Golden Valley what to do.
No, that's not what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I said, you and I said that we were going to talk about it. When we last talked about it last week,
Yeah,
you
last
said it
week.
wasn't going anywhere.
It wasn't seeming to go anywhere because the engineers want it just to keep twirling and twirling around. Golden Valley, they're trying to appease the administration, the citizens, greening and all this sort of stuff. And it's nebulous at best. I can't help define it any better. When you look at trying to do stuff with solar or with wind, that's okay if you're in a certain place in latitude 63 down in Anchorage, but we're in latitude 65. We don't have that much to get solar. And we don't really have strong winds up here. We do down in Delta, but not up here. There's a lot to it, a lot more than what I can talk about. So let's put it together and let them put it in a workshop. Danny, you got slides already. He's doing work on them still. It's not ready for prime time yet. But that's what our presentation is from the city.
And
But
then
there are some concerns there. There's a legal concern. I'll give
there's,
you.
that was the other, my
Yeah,
other question
legal-
that you brought up was
Yeah,
a legal
Legal
concern.
concern is this. Our attorney also, whether we like it or not, has got a conflict of interest because he represents IGU. So if we're going to use natural gas, how can we get the kind of representation to give us a green light to go with natural gas? Just as an example, you know, we have a shortage of professionals up here, and that should give us pause for concern. But I believe that the what was it called? Harrison Street? They might very well take an equity share and do it as private equity. Seriously. Another concern I have is with the knowledge and desire to have the knowledge of the legislature. As Senator Kawasaki would say, or certain representatives would say, if you can't get your own rep or your own senator interested in this, how do you expect us to be interested in it? They can't see it's for the better good, though. So I can't help them there, but we'll do our best to put it forward. That doesn't mean we have to take a leadership role, but we should at least make sure we're going to benefit from a combined heat and power if it comes here. It would cost way too much to capitalize that. When you talked about the man that was here in November 2 years ago, that was when we were thinking about coal because nobody knew they found that much natural gas on Hill Core up on the Arctic slope. They didn't know, we didn't know about that find. They found it January 31st. They didn't announce it. On February 2nd, we're sitting there with Golden Valley on a Friday afternoon on Groundhog Day saying maybe this is the way we should go because we could get natural gas and do the whole thing for like 12 million. If you do it with coal, you're talking about $80 million. That's a lot of money to put out for capitalization. So instead of telling you more and more and more, let's save it for June the 6th.
How many hours are gonna be that we're looking at?
2 hours max.
Okay, cool.
2 hours max. We don't want it to go too long.
All right.
If we could do it in an hour and a half, we'll do it in an hour and a half. But 2 hours max, I think.
Now, will this be just one time or maybe,
So one time, as far as a workshop,
okay,
and that's why we'll give you a primer so that you can be prepared to ask the kind of questions that are meaningful questions.
okay.
Yeah. And as we go along, if you think that something should be added to it, by all means, let Danny or me know so we can add it to it. Thank you very much. So,
Mayor,
yeah, sure.
I think what Ms. Clack was saying is that as a council, and this is what we've discussed a lot, we hear you talking about it. We don't have maps, synopsis.
What Mr. Wallace has it then. He's got it. Would you say you got about a 80% framework
Well,
on maps and things?
well, nothing's changed. And actually
Yeah.
just to be honest, the briefing really is that information sheet that looks at the location. I mean, it talks about the location, everything else, but that information sheet that we had in that meeting that we had with Randy Hobbs and Brent Sheets. So
I wasn't a part of
but
it.
the slides are a platform for discussion. But Mayor, and again, this is something that we haven't fully talked through. Is this an information session for the council?
I think
A
it's
sharing of
information
ideas
for the
rather
council.
than a decision-making
Yeah, it's
session?
not a decision. It's just information so that you
So
can be best informed.
I think
Yeah.
that's the intent rather than something that at the end of it, a plan is made or a decision.
But in
made.
another
Yeah.
way, it lists Golden Valley, IGU, Marathon Oil. It lets them know what our intent is somewhat. It lets them know that we got our eye on it, that they could say this is a reliable source of energy, because that's what they don't have right now. They do not have a reliable source. And you cannot tell me that solar or wind up here would be reliable around the clock, but combined heat power would. And the fact that we know that we can bring it to them at cheaper than 15 cents a kilowatt hour. Right now, you know, they're meaning Golden Valley will make the profit off of it. We'll sell it and slide home at no expense to us. And we will provide for us for ourselves. Nobody can stop us from buying our own electricity. Can you imagine if we're not paying 28, 30 cents a kilowatt hour, if we get it for 15 ourselves? Number one, water treatment. Number two, wastewater, and every other building. Imagine what the schools would say, and the swimming pool and the library. So we already know what they'll say. Yes, Benny.
So, you know, really what I'm looking at and what we're saying is, if you don't show interest, you're not, the people will figure that we don't have interest in that. If nobody shows up, that's what I'm seeing from this. So
Yeah.
the more, the way I look at it, the more of us show up.
But this is something that we're putting on, right?
We're putting it on because it's for the benefit of the council members, because I don't expect, there's new council members, they were never part of this. When we did this 2 years ago, you weren't even elected to council, Benny, and Larry, you weren't. And I'm not sure, I know that, I always want to say Mayor Jacobson by default, but Jeff Jacobson and Chandra and Miss Welch were the only ones besides myself that were there. But that's more than half the council. I don't remember you being there. You were there in November of 17? Yeah, I mean, November 17th, November 17th, 22. I don't remember, darn, right before Thanksgiving. Guy came all the way up from Region 10 out of Olympia, Washington. Right? Well, what did you think about that presentation? Yeah, there's a lot of work that he put into it, but he cannot advise us because he'd have a conflict of interest because he represents, of all people, the Department of Energy. So he can't advise us. He could just tell us, I would change this or I would change that, but he can't advocate. That's the word I'm looking for. He can't advocate for us. Excuse me, sir. No, absolutely not. We're talking about combined heat power. And in that northwest region, they do a lot of coal-fired, which is meeting a lot of resistance in the current Biden administration, as you can imagine. Not talking,
Point of order, are we still on ongoing projects?
no, we're on ongoing projects, and Clinton, I know you don't understand that, so. Huh? No, we're not. We're on ongoing projects. I'm just trying to present to my council something. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any other questions? Okay, so that's that workshop, June 6th. Thank you, Danny. Madam Clerk, where are we going next?
It looks like we've got consent agenda items and now we are at council member comments.
Who goes first?
Business.
We
All
did
done.
consent.
It's all consented.
Who's first, Madam?
Oh, in that case, let's have Benny Williams start.
Yes. He's chomping at the bit here.
Okay, so well, since you want me to start, I'd like to say that I went down to the American Red Cross and did their program, and it was very informative. Myself and Councilwoman Clark, we was down there. I'm sorry,
That's all right.
Councilwoman Clark, we were down there, and they gave some very interesting stuff. Of course, I told them that I would take anybody that's difficult, because some people don't want you in their houses. So I said, I will take that person, whoever it is, or people. But, it was very interesting, and there's a lot that once we start, it looks like it's going to be very good for our people to get fire extinguishers, because I got 4 in my house, and they all work perfectly from what they did when they put them up.
Extinguisher?
No, fire extinguisher, no, fire detectors.
Smoke detectors.
Smoke detectors, okay. Did I get it right this time?
You got it right this
Bing,
time.
bing, 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 bing.
Okay, good. So, and that was very interesting class. So, this Saturday, we're supposed to get together. And right now, there's only 2 individuals in the North Pole area that signed up, but who knows, there might be more for us when we go there. What else am I supposed to talk about? This is council's comments, okay. And another thing I thought, I'm always coming up with these good ideas. I think they're good ideas. Most people don't, but that's okay. Something I read, and I'm always looking for things that would benefit us as a whole, because you never know when somebody's out there listening to you and you can spark an idea from an individual. So one thing that I saw in one of my little books is life can only be understood by looking backward, but it must be live by looking forward. In other words, everybody see where I'm coming from when I say that, right? You gotta look at what you did backwards, the way I see it, if you want to progress and move forward. And with things going on in the world today, please make the right decision. Because it won't come down on us, but it'll come down on our kids. Okay? We have to teach our kids the proper way to do things. Because if we don't, it's gonna be rough out there for them as well as us. And I got a couple more that I thought was very good. Says one thing that I wrote, that I saw, it says confidence on the outside begins by living with integrity on the inside. I have to explain that. Everybody know where I'm coming from when I said that one. See many heads going, but that's okay. It says your job, you know, is customer satisfaction. Your real job is problem solving. But the way I see that particular statement is, if you're going to bring us a problem, bring a solution. You know, we can take that solution and work it and then make it work for everybody. But if you think we can come with all the solutions, it ain't going to work, because we see things one way, somebody else might see things another way, and we all work together on that situation. I got one more, then we're done. Just one more. Okay, here it is. I think this is the right one. As for what you want, ask for what you want. Ask for help. Ask for input. Ask for advice and ideas, but never be afraid to ask. To me, that means when I see a problem, if I don't understand it, I'm going to ask somebody that I know that has knowledge in that area to help me to understand. And that's how we all should be. I think I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Vinnie.
I'm gonna drop the mic now. Here we go. Drop the mic.
Mr. Church?
Don't know how I follow that.
You told me to go first.
No, I love it. Have a few more next time, Benny. I love it. Please vote tomorrow. Please get out and vote. Just make your voices heard, for or against. It's important that, we make that happen for our community, one way or another. Cleanup day, please wear your protective gear. And gloves, good shoes, water boots, and high-vis vests. And for your surroundings and where you're at, and those people who don't choose not to clean up, please slow down for those that are. And a lot of people already out cleaning up and picking up trash. Cars are flying by at 70 miles an hour. People are right next to the road, 4 feet off the road. You blow a tire, someone swerves in your lane. Please just slow down. Pay attention to. Along with that, motorcycles are out and about. I know maybe not today, but they are. Please keep an eye out for those guys and gals that are out there enjoying their summer. That, I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Church. Mr. Jacobson?
Thank you. I'd like to thank our city clerk, Emily, for sending out in our emails electronic templates for us to be able to write resolutions and ordinances for consideration. So thank you for doing that. That was a request I had asked at our last city staff meeting. Just kind of piggyback on what Mr. Williams said, I got in the mail today, and hopefully other residents will too, about Red Cross volunteers are coming to a neighborhood near you. Request a free smoke alarm to help your home safer. That's from May 1st through the 31st. Schedule appointments online or call 907-419-4718. And this is about installing working fire alarms in your home. Either yourself or they will do it, and they will provide the fire alarms, correct? You can pick them up and install them, or do they want to
They will
install?
install 'em.
They will install them, okay. You just don't pick one up, you schedule an appointment to have one installed. I am concerned about what we heard tonight with the healthcare plan. All of it was good until we got to the option that included adding weight loss drugs to the plan. That is a multi-thousand-dollar prescription that will drive the healthcare costs up for the city. If the city wants to entertain covering weight loss drugs, I think that should be also reflected in a higher premium for every employee that uses that plan so that they are bearing the weight of that drug, which is optional. It's not a requirement to have weight loss drugs in your life, although they are helpful and beneficial. The most popular ones out there, I won't say the name to advertise it, costs thousands of dollars, and you have to take it for the rest of your life. There's no taking it and losing the weight you want to and then thinking you're done. No, it'll all come back. You are on that drug at $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and I don't think the city or the taxpayers should foot that bill. So I just want to make sure that you consider that. If we don't move the meeting from the 20th to the 13th, the council on that night will be 4 members on the 20th to have to pass that in order to get it locked in for the rates that were quoted. I also thought it was interesting that there have been several articles, reports in the newspaper about the ore hauling trucks. In fact, at the Carlson Center, they did a update on the road conditions of the route, and Kenny, who did the study for the state of Alaska Department of Transportation, basically said that, oh, they don't see a problem with it. There's not much damage happening, that there basically will be a maybe a $3 to $4 million increase in road maintenance for DOT to have. That's not in the budget from the legislature or from the governor. So I don't know what's going to happen come July 1 when the state budget kicks in and there's no $3 or $4 million to increase our northern region road maintenance fund. That's sanding, that's plowing, and then to make it safer, because there are so many school bus stops where there's going to be collisions, they're talking about adding more pull-out stops. And that's a much higher price tag of $7 to $10 million. And they only anticipate that with this truck activity, there will be an increase of only 7 to 10 fatalities more a year. And I can guarantee you the fatalities will be in the car and not in the ore hauling truck. So again, as the council, we were very concerned about what the trucks would be doing. I think it was disingenuous for Kenny not to have driven the route weekly or even monthly on those roads to see how the conditions changed, because there was a great letter to the editor in the paper about someone who uses the Steese Highway, especially as you're going through the hills, and how that road is literally falling apart. There are deep ruts in the going to the mine and not so much on the returning from the mine, because the weight of the truck is damaging the pavement, and also the shoulder is sloughing off. There is nothing in the state STIP plan or that has any funding for the Richardson Highway, the Steese Highway, or the those 2 main highways anyway, in the near future. So I don't know where the magic money is going to come from, but we are suffering at the result of a private company with industrial traffic using our highways. They're not commercial. This is industrial traffic when you have that number of vehicles in that way, using public roads with no plan in place to hold them accountable, much like we saw in the disappointing thing with the tax waivers for building new construction. The borough didn't have a scale in place, so you build a studio apartment, or you build a one-bedroom apartment, you build a two-bedroom apartment, you get the same number of years of tax rebates, and none of those qualify for military family housing. And that was the whole goal for doing the tax waiver, was to increase housing for military families so they could actually come here and live as a family versus having an overseas assignment where no families are allowed. So that's it for tonight. And thanks everyone for your participation.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobson. Mr. Keller?
So kind of going along with Mr. Jacobson, I had someone explain to me what's happening with the Stace Highway and say that they've observed some of the truckers lifting up some of their trailer tires as they're going up some of those hills. So, and as a truck driver here, you know how much weight that puts on the other tires, and it's not evenly distributing, you know, too. So I have not seen this firsthand. I actually plan on going up there at some point and just watching. Because yeah, those roads aren't made for that much weight. So a little bit coming towards North Pole. I'm really curious how many people are actually listening to this in the public, right? There's a lot of motorized vehicles out there, and especially some of them that go past the signs that say no motorized vehicles on the walkways and the back bike paths along Old Rich. Just another reminder, make sure that things are licensed and the whole, I was trying to think of why we want the vehicles to be registered. I think part of it is because of insurance. If something were to happen, who would be liable, right? So we need to make sure that our ATVs, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, motorcycles, dirt bikes, those are all licensed and insured, because heaven forbid something happens, there's coverage to help. So me as a driver of a regular vehicle, like I'm always having my head on a swivel, because you know people are out there having fun, and I want them to have fun, but safe fun. So just a little public service announcement and reminder. Other than that, it's oh, I chuckled today when it was snowing. I'm just kind of one of those people. That's my demon in me. When people are griping, complaining that it's snowing, I just chuckle and I laugh. And so I like snow. So continue to enjoy the weather, what that we do have and what we will have. Summer is upon us. But yeah, watch out for fires as well as the motorized vehicles. And with that, I yield.
Not happy to hear you're happy about snow. Mr. Skips?
Yes, just real short. Thursday, May 16th, 7 PM, Carlson Center, North Pole High School graduation. And like you saw today, it could snow at any time. So just, you know, keep your emergency kit and all this other stuff and just slow down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Skips. Ms. Clack?
I want to thank the staff for all the hard work they've done this week, borrowing the fact that, we were doing our audit and getting things ready. I thank Howard Rexley for the cleanup. The big thing out of that is to get vehicles taken. So please take advantage of the tow trucks. Try to make sure I provided that information earlier. And if not, it is on Howard Rexley's Chamber of Commerce website. And I do believe we put some up there too, right, Madam Clerk? And then on the 17th, we have the run, and then we also have the bazaar at the mall. So other than that, please have a nice, safe weekend and week, and enjoy those that are graduating.
Thank you, Ms. Clack. That brings us to Mayor Welch.
Thank you very much. I put on your positions the housing tax incentive report that was distributed at the Salter Room last Thursday at the civilian military meeting. And it's sort of discouraging if you look at it. This was as of April 23rd, 2024. And altogether, there had only been 10 applications approved. There had been 16 submitted and only 10 approved. So the units to be built, the total units were 125 with an average price of only $158,000. And you'll notice, without me going through all the numbers, 34 of those out of the 125 were studio units. 71 were one-bedroom units, and only 12 of those were two-bedroom units. So I'm looking at the Air Force and the Army wincing when they heard those numbers. Altogether, there's $19.8 million exempted value annually. So as the borough mayor will tell you, he'll more than make that up in his 11th year. You know, that 10-year exemption really didn't do much for them. There's 61 units still under construction and 16 yet to be constructed. And of those, 46 are Fairbanks, 51 in North Pole, and 28 in the greater FNSP area. So that didn't turn out to be that great a program, actually, and I'm not surprised. But what was surprising, and Jeff Jacobson's already mentioned it, they didn't really have outlined what the boundaries were going to be for this program. So a lot of people went forward and thought that they were going to be covered for 10 years, and they found out the assembly said, based on what you just built, you're only going to get a 4-year property tax exemption. So it didn't work out for them. A lot of that stuff going on. It was the same with the CARES Act money. At the time, the mayor of Fairbanks, Jim Matherly, kind of warned me, don't get involved with doing with the borough. And he was right, because after 2 months, they'd only handed out 8 business interruption grants between $6 and $84,000, only 8 of them. Once we turned it over to Love in the Name of Christ, they did 3 times that many in only 3 weeks. So it leaves me a lot to be desired. And also, I'll let you see, there's something I can't go to that you may want to consider. So I'll put that out for you. It looks like this. This is the Fairbanks North Star Borough Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Update. So Monday, May 20th and Tuesday, May 21st at the Wedgwood Resort on Wedgwood Drive in Fairbanks. You can see on the front page all the things from agriculture to energy to tourism to recreation, retail. And on the back, you can see these are mostly morning time initiatives that start at 9 o'clock in the morning and they end somewhere around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So they're kind of evenly spaced. There's a lunch provided in the middle of that. So I would say if you could go to those, if y'all could just divide it up somehow, anybody have some free time on May 20th, either the morning, afternoon, or on May 21st. I think one of the most important ones is going to be the military segment on that Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. On this Thursday, right before 10 o'clock in the morning, I have to be up at the Carlson Center because it's Senior Recognition Day. That's when the mayors, the 3 mayors, go up and we recognize seniors for projects they did in our city. That's their day to shine. Benny, you going to be there on Thursday?
I could be.
Oh, thank you very much. I knew you would be. On the 9th of May, that's this Thursday. So it's always busy. It's not something that's just sitting there. You never know. Somehow it's always this thing about they sent it to .com instead of .org or vice versa. And it didn't get acknowledged, but I was aware of it from one of my Civ Mill meetings. So I reached out to them and made sure they knew I was coming. So that's this Thursday. And with that, Madam Clerk, I would like to say a call for adjournment.
Second.
All right. And we are adjourned at 8:27.
Be good. Thank you.
What time?
9:45 or so. Oh, I have to be up there at the Carlson Center at 9:45.
Carlson Center?
Yeah.